Hi guys, welcome! In this video, we'll dive into Sara Alin's DPS build for PvP. As a damage dealer, Sara Alin can deal massive amounts of fire, dark, and ghost magic damage, making her strong in many scenarios. Aside from her damage dealing capability, she also possesses powerful abilities in PvP, such as completely ignoring her enemy's defense, inflicting strong debuffs, being immune to abnormal statuses, and having a high chance of dodging damage. However, she lacks anti-fatal and mobility skills, so she can only rely on her invisibility for survivability. If you missed our previous discussion regarding Sara Alin's skill mechanics and PvE build, I'll have them linked in the description box below. This time will cover everything you need to know, from stats, runes, gears, cards, upgrades, and battle setup to guide you in optimizing Sara Alin's performance in the PvP battlefield. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. First, for attribute point distribution, ensure first that you have sufficient points on decks to reduce the variable cast time of skills and to account for possible cast time debuffs from classes like Thor, Hela, and Chronomancer. Then find a good balance between Int and Luck, as these two are the primary stats for boosting spell crit damage. As for the remaining attribute points, just allocate it on bid for survivability. As for damage modifiers, these are the ones that can further boost Sara Alin's damage output against other players. As mentioned in our previous video, it is of lower priority to increase Ignore MDef, as Sara can completely ignore the magic defense of enemies under Wish Ode state. However, this buff only lasts for 20 seconds with a fixed cooldown of 28 seconds, and you can rely on the 35% chance of it not entering cooldown when using Ghost Talisman. Thus, you should avoid engaging into fights and manage to survive during the 8-second downtime of Wish Ode. As for elemental damage, you can simply focus on increasing her fire damage stats, since her exclusive weapon Nirvana grants dark and ghost damage equivalent to 50% of her fire damage. Another thing to take note of is that you won't need to invest in status immunity and status resist gears, since Sara is already immune to abnormal statuses under Wish Ode state. Up next, let's take a look at Sara Alin's runes. Maxing out the core passive skill to level 7 is a must in order to effectively play Sara in PvP. This because she needs to get all special effects of Wish Ode and the maximum effects of her individual talisman skills. Aside from activating the second line effect, you should also aim for a high first line value on her runes. A max value rune for Celestial Resonance can double the duration of the damage ticks created by fire-related reaction effects from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. A high value rune for Everything Follows can grant a bigger HP shield to help with survivability. A high value rune for Wish Ode ensures that you can dispel all negative effects from yourself and one teammate. A high value rune for Impermanence would annoy the enemies by increasing their skill delay by up to 2 seconds. A max value rune for Butterfly Ripple will reduce its cooldown from 6 seconds to 3 seconds, and a high value rune for Frostfire Green Maple will directly boost its damage by up to 50%. For attribute runes, prioritize leveling up the following for improving damage. And for the arcane runes, I recommend getting these 3 runes. Transmission rune to boost your final damage to enemies which are more than 6 meters away from you. Disaster rune for a higher chance to inflict burn, darkness, and silence status, and for a chance to remove the enemy's buffs upon inflicting an abnormal status. And spirit rune to prevent running out of SP during long fights. Up next, let's dive into the recommended equipment set and cards. First, for weapon, her exclusive weapon Nirvana would be the best in slot, as it gives a balanced distribution of magic damage modifiers, which allows you to one-hit kill enemies even with single target skills. In addition, its tier 5 effect grants dark and ghost damage equivalent to 50% of her fire damage, thus enhancing the elemental damage of all her offensive skills. Here are the materials for crafting the base weapon Mystic Light, and these are the materials for synthesizing it into Nirvana and upgrading to tier 5. Your weapon should be enchanted with Magic 4 and inlaid with any of the following cards. Personally, I prefer combining one spell crit card like Gamora card or Shelchapet Star card with one damage increasing card like Incantation Samurai card or Resentful Bone card. For offhand, I prefer using Dream Protector for boosting magic attack and M-Pen, but you may also use Divine Revelation for boosting magic damage. As for Phantom offhand, I recommend using Peak Ladder for increasing damage and reducing cast time. Your offhand should be enchanted with Insight 4 and inlaid with Basilisk Star card for increasing damage to medium size. For armor, the top options for main equipment are Divine Guidance for increasing magic damage and elemental damage, Leathership Patrol for increasing Ignorant Death and elemental damage, or Soul Cage for increasing magic damage and damage to medium size. As for Phantom Armor, the best in slot is Star Shatter's Gown for additional magic damage modifiers. Your armor should be enchanted with Magic 4 and inlaid with any of the following cards. For garment, the universal choice for magic skill damage dealers is Classical Robe with 12% skill damage as main equipment and Divine Feather Clothes as phantom equipment. Your garment should be enchanted with Arcane 4 and inlaid with Devil's Squid card to be able to cast Stealth during Wish Ode's 8-second downtime and still benefit from her hiding related passive. For footgear, the options for your main equipment are Order Guardian with 6% M-Pen or Tristan's Grace with 6% magic damage, while for phantom equipment, you may either use the White Gem Boots or St. Mary's Cloth Shoes. Your footgear should be enchanted with Arcane 4 and inlaid with Moonlight Flower Star card. This is a must-have in order to cancel the movement speed reduction while in hiding state. For accessories, the best in slot are Heart of Molten Fire with 12% fire damage as main equipment and Flame Feather as phantom equipment. As mentioned earlier, boosting fire damage can also increase dark and ghost damage when equipped with Tier 5 Nirvana. All accessories should be enchanted with Anti-Mage 4 and inlaid with Devil Governor card for increasing final damage and Wish of Calamity card for additional spell crit chance. For headwear, these are my top picks for each slot, just choose depending on availability and the stat you're lacking. As for headwear enchantment, aim for Arcane 4th enchant on your tail item and Insight 4th enchant on your face and back items. And for headwear card, you may use any of the following for enhancing damage. Take note that you may also use GVG rental gears, god artifacts, and 6v6 team competition headwear for specific situations. Up next, here are the other upgrades that you can invest in to further boost your damage. For Acer Monument, activating all the nodes will grant the following stats. Notably, it provides 12% fire, dark, and ghost damage, 10% damage to medium size, and 10% M-Pen, magic damage, and magic attack. For guild buffs, maxing out your blessings and prayers will grant additional raw magic attack, Ignorant Death, M-Pen, and fire, dark, and ghost damage. For Oracle Mirror Extract, the top options are Stick of Wicked Thought for M-Pen, Abre Bow for damage to a demi-human race, Oath Book Page 2 for magic attack, Fire Axe for fire damage, or Holgrahan's Refined Hammer for destroying the enemy's weapon and armor. For Ancient Relics, Horn of the Watcher is the most essential to target hiding enemies. Other options are Horn of the Unyielding for survivability, Lord of Vane for increasing damage, Secret Cloak against magic damage reflection, or Year Necklace against Phantom Dancer. For multi-job, you can unlock the following classes to get more int, luck, and dex. And for Adventure Handbook, just focus on collecting items and achievements that grant magic attack when unlocked or deposited. Finally, let's take a look at some tips for using Sara Alin in battle. First, for the skill bar setup, I prefer manually casting her skills for higher effectiveness. As an example, if you put Free Sources Return in auto, your character will run to 5 meters away from the selected target before it will be cast, but you can actually manually cast it from a longer distance and still hit enemies from a radius of 12 meters. Manually casting also allows you to frequently switch between talismans and attack skills to adapt to the battle situation. Once you're all set, use the following consumables that can enhance your damage, such as Meal Base, Foot Buffs, and Fire Alloy. Before casting Wish Ode, activate the Ghost Talisman first to have a 35% chance to avoid Wish Ode's cooldown. If your cooldown reset is successful, you can repeat this buff rotation every 20 seconds. After that, you can start engaging the enemies. Make sure to activate Fire Talisman first to increase your elemental damage and skill damage, then use Frostfire Green Maple as your primary damaging skill. In many cases, the enemies are already prepared to counter Fire Element using Jackstar card and the new Chaos Asylum GVG rental gear, resulting in lower fire damage output. Thus, it's more recommended to use Butterfly Ripple for AoE dark damage, and everything follows for single target ghost damage. This way, you can still activate the corresponding Fire plus Dark and Fire plus Ghost damage ticks. Dealing dark damage is quite good in the current meta since enemy cats can convert their teammates' armor into holy. Free Sources Return has a pretty long animation, so only use it against large crowds in GVG. For controlling the enemy, the best combo is to activate the Ghost Talisman and then cast Impermanence. This will prevent them from targeting or being targeted by their teammates for 12 seconds, thus they won't be able to receive or give single target buffs like Fate Ray or Soul of Wizard. Additionally, this can inflict silent status, which prevents them from casting skills, and the Ghost plus Ghost Resonance effect, which prevents them from auto-attacking for 6 seconds. During Wish Ode's 8-second downtime, you need to be extra careful and ensure survival by switching the Dark Talisman for its 63% chance to dodge damage. You may trigger Dark plus Dark Resonance to reduce the enemy's attack and casting range, or Dark plus Ghost Resonance to reduce the enemy's abnormal status resist by 30%. You also have an option to use a Devil's Squid card or Smoky Star card to be able to hide while waiting. This will allow you to continuously benefit from her Hide and Conceal and Flameheart Guardian passive skills. Take note that being aggressive during this 8-second window period is quite risky, as your damage will suffer greatly when not in Wish Ode and Fire Talisman. And there you have it, my Sara Alin DPS build guide for PvP. Overall, I believe Sara Alin can be a formidable force in PvP, combining high damage output with powerful control abilities. By mastering her skills, you can dominate your opponents and lead your team to victory. Be sure to leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this guide. If you're new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing by hitting the red subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.